there's all kinds of things that you can do to help people, like with storm damage situations. So one of the things that people might want to do when they have a storm or something come through, what are some of the things they need to start looking for to see if there's damage or if they need to call someone?
Well, one of the first things that you're going to notice is the if you have a leak in your house. That's one of the most predominant ways to know that, hey, I need to call somebody. I've got a problem. So after a good-sized storm, you need to walk around your house and look up. Look at the ceilings. That's your first telltale. Then it's the recognizable damage that's on the outside. You're going to have a piece of your siding that's down, a piece of your fascia that is fallen off of your house or blown down or missing. Those things are real telltale signs. If you're unsure, people can call us and we'll come out and do a storm damage assessment for them free of charge. If they're just unsure if they've got any damage or they're worried that they have damage, if they call us, we'll come out and do an assessment for them. It's advised to do that even before they file an insurance claim. If you file an insurance claim and you have no damage, it still counts as a insurance claim. Yeah, it still counts as a claim whether or not you had any damage or not, or you got paid any money to repair it. A lot of repairs are below their deductible, and it could be something that they're just needing some general maintenance on. Maybe they think it's storm damage, but it's not really related to storm damage. We can make those assessments for them and really save them with their insurance company as far as filing a claim and running the risk of a rate hike or actually getting dropped.
One of the questions I have for you is you said whenever maybe if we've had a hard rain or hail or something like that, to look up. Does water damage always show up instantaneously, or does sometimes it take a while for that? Because you're looking for some discoloration or something, I guess, on your ceiling. What exactly are you looking for if you're just looking to see if you have a roof leak inside your home?
Well, the most obvious is going to be discoloration in the ceilings or a puddle in the floor.
Well, that's a pretty big leak if you have a puddle in the floor.
You're correct. Those are things that you would want to look for. Open your closets. Look around where you wouldn't normally look. Because obviously, if you're walking down the hall and you step in something wet, that's a telltale sign. You're going to look for that. You're going to find it. It's going to be there. Look in the places in your pantry. Look in your utility room behind the wash machine. Look in the places that you don't normally see on a day-to-day basis. And just doing that is going to eliminate the long-term damage that can occur because you didn't take care of it immediately.
Well, now talking about roofings, we'll talk about roofs here for a little bit. You can also there's some preventative things you can do to your roof as well, correct? To maybe keep you from having issues, whether it's storm-related or not. What does this heat do to your roofs? We've had some pretty high heat and some hot wind and different things like that. Does that cause roof damage? Can you have damage just from the hot weather we've been having?
You can. What happens is the heat makes all of the elements on your home expand. Roofing in particular, because it is an asphalt-based product and it retains a lot of heat, so it expands more than, say, a piece of vinyl siding. What that does is if it takes and it makes everything on the roof expand and thus makes your roof susceptible to cracking, especially if it's an aged roof. We find that on roofs that are usually in excess of 14 or 15 years old.
I see. So if someone has that issue going on, and let's just say maybe just part of their roof is exposed to the sun, the other's shaded or whatever, can you just go in and replace that part that's damaged? Can you go in and just replace, like maybe they have, I don't know how shingles come in a row or whatever it is or how they're attached, but you can just come in and replace just the ones that are damaged. You don't have to actually go in and replace a whole roof or something like that. Can you just do partial replacement? Is there such a thing as partial roof replacement?
Absolutely. You can replace anything from one shingle all the way up to the full roof, because shingles come individually. So you can replace just the individual shingles that are damaged, or you can replace entire slopes, or you can replace the entire roof. There's also other aspects of the roof that are not shingles that cause leaks. There's seals around your plumbing vents.
Sure.
There's heating and air ventilation that is up there that could be dislodged, or could have it, the wind could have kicked it over and made an access point for water. So it's not always just about shingles. It can also be about the other elements that are on the roof.
Any kind of penetration that you might have through the roof for whatever reason could be an area for a leak.
That is the most accessible places for water to come in your home. Any place that has, if there's an opening in the roof that has a ventilation, any kind of ventilation aspect to it, and that is the most accessible places, and that's where we normally find most leaks in roofs that are not missing shingles.
Okay. So you would come out and do free inspections if someone thinks they might have some storm damage. Is that correct? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's one of the main aspects of our inspectors is to go out and determine if there is a reason why they should file an insurance claim, or what is their damage, and what is the cost of fixing it, and is it viable for them to go and actually move forward with the process of an insurance claim. It's not a good idea to file a claim and not get any monetary benefits from it, because it still counts as a claim, and it's
sure. And I don't know if everyone realizes that or not. Sometimes you think if you just call and there's nothing wrong and you didn't get any money, then there was no claim because you didn't get any money from it. We've kind of touched on this on the show before, so people really need to be aware of that situation. Don't put yourself in some sort of situation with your insurance company where you might end up having to pay more just because you made a phone call when you really didn't need to be doing that. So some of the other areas that you were talking about, or to me earlier, that you guys work in and stuff, is remodels, additions, those type of things. It seems like since the housing crunch kind of all hit everybody, and people have kind of lost money, and their houses has gone down in value and that type of thing, we've noticed just from the heating and air standpoint that people are staying where they're at, especially if they like their location. Maybe they've had an issue come up. Maybe they've had another baby, or maybe mom's had to move in with them, or something like that. Sometimes, as we were talking, it's more cost effective to add on to your existing home than to try and sell what you have, find another place, move. Cost of moving is very expensive. It can cost several $1,000s to move from one place to another. And then you have closing costs and all kinds of things involved with buying and selling homes. So are you finding that you are doing a lot of remodeling and addition for people still?
We are. We find that people have come to the realization that it is more cost effective to stay where they are, especially if they're happy with the school districts that their children are in, the locations that they're living in, the tax districts that they're actually have their property in at that point. Those are all things. Usually the tax districts move up in value as you move into the newer, more expensive neighborhoods. So, and that's what you're going to find is when you're moving into more square footage, you're moving into a more expensive home. So adding another room, whether you're got a baby on the way and you need a baby room, or you just want an outdoor sunroom type setting, or you just want to add a deck for some to have a place to go sit outside and enjoy the evenings, which is unfortunately not been very enjoyable here over the last heat wave. But there's things that we can do as far as eliminating some of that heat factor too. We've seen just from this year alone, we've done several roof extensions over existing decks and existing patios to block that excessive heat from the sun through the summertime and give them that outdoor area that they want to spend time in.
We just did that at our home at the lake, like I was telling you, and it made a huge difference. Because once you have a roof over it, then you can put fans up. You can do different things that can help you stay more comfortable and still be able to be outside and enjoy being outside. So if someone is looking at maybe they need some more room, or they just want another room, whatever, maybe they want a recreation room or something like that, do you go out? Can you help them decide where the best place would be to add that room on, or the best way they should do to go about expanding their existing location? Or do they kind of need to have all that in mind before they call you guys out?
Well, having a good plan of what you're actually looking for is always beneficial before we get there. but not necessarily necessary. Most people know that they want a larger kitchen, or they want a bigger utility room, or they want that game room for their teenage kids. That is what they know. What they don't know is, okay, what is the exact size that I need? What can I afford? And that's where we come into play. We'll look at the style of house that they have, what the most cost-effective way of giving them that excess living area that they're looking for, and being able to add cost-effectively the additional square footage that they're needing in their home. So, to answer your question, we'd be more than happy to go out and our consultations are free. It's not something that they're going to be paying for. If they're just wanting an idea of what it might cost to go out and add a baby room on their home, or a game room, or that extra outdoor living area that they're looking for, we're more than happy to go out and do that for them.
And you can be surprised. It's surprising how just a little bit more square footage can make a huge impact in your living space and the comfort of your home. I know that we just extended our dining room out 5 feet, just 5 feet, and it made an enormous amount of difference. So sometimes when you're talking about expanding or adding on, it doesn't always have to be a big addition. It can be something as small as, like you said, I think you said that you added 200 feet on to someone's house or something. 200 square feet doesn't sound like a lot when you're just thinking 200 square feet, but it can make a huge impact on your existing home. And like you said, if you like your location, if you like where you're at, and for the tax basis, I mean, taxes vary quite a bit depending on which county you're in. Think about maybe doing an addition or an upgrade or something, and staying where you're at and being happy where you are, and just expanding your space a little bit. That's something that can usually be pretty affordable. I would imagine if you want to do something like that, you could probably get there's home improvement loans out there that I think the interest rates are still very reasonable on. Different ways you can finance it that could be very affordable. So those are all great ideas for people who are maybe trying to decide, should I move, should I stay, can I add this, can I add that type of thing. If someone wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
They can reach us at 877-0030. And if no one is able to take their call immediately, they can leave a message, and callbacks are within 24 hours.
Okay.
To touch on the financing aspect that you mentioned, we do have our own financing in-house that we are partnered with Arvis Bank.
Okay.
And we're more than happy to take those applications, and we streamline the process. We make sure that all the facets for their project is included in the financing, so that we can eliminate or minimize the out-of-pocket expense that they have, as long as they qualify.
Sure. Well, that's good to know too, because sometimes it's kind of difficult maybe to try and go out and try and find financing like that if you don't have a good relationship with a banker or something, and then maybe it can be a little more complicated to try and go out and get all that. There's kind of a lot to do if you're kind of trying to get your financing on your own, and then you're trying to get everything put together and then go forward with the process. But to have you guys come out and give them an idea of the cost first, I think would be a huge benefit. To start there, find out what it's going to cost, see, and I would imagine when some people want to do some sort of remodel or something, you run into different situations with different things. Like sometimes they have a support wall maybe that can't be moved. Not everyone, if you're not in construction, you don't always understand. Maybe someone wants to take this wall out, but it's not feasible to take that whole wall out. You kind of need to know that before you start all of this stuff, so that you don't end up having a situation where you're not happy because it couldn't be done like you wanted to do. So I would imagine you could come out, and if someone says, I want to take this wall out because I want to add this and I want that, you could say, well, we can't take the whole wall out maybe, but maybe we can, do an opening like this, or we can do this or that or the other, or something like that, so people don't get into some sort of construction situation where it ends up costing them a lot more money than they expected.
Yeah, correct. There's, the old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. If you have enough money, there's always a way to do what you're after. But it's not always the most cost effective. And that's one of the things that we like to do is give more options and try to reach the most cost effective way to accomplish, the end goal. And it really is about what the customer wants but a lot of times it is also about what is the most cost effective and what they can afford. So if you call me out and say I want to add 10,000 square feet to my backyard, it may not be the most cost effective thing to do.
Sure, you better go buy a new 10,000 square foot house.
But then again, if they're looking to just add a game room to put a pool table in and a place for their teenagers to hang out, we can figure out the most accessible place for that and the most cost-effective way to do it for them.
Do you ever convert garages to game rooms or anything like that? Do people do too much of that?
Garage conversions are typically for adding in an additional bedroom or an additional sitting area for a television room or whatnot. It's not very. It is not very common for that to happen. At least not. We have not seen a lot of that, because when you take in your garage, you lose your garage, and
right.
Most people want their garage for storage or keeping their vehicles out of the weather. So that puts them in a position of having to construct another garage, and a lot of times it's more cost effective rather than adding on a garage and the driveways and the concrete for the driveways and stuff. Most of the time it's more cost effective to just add a room on another part of the house to accomplish what they're after.
I see. Well, since we've had such hot weather here lately, and of course, at Spring Mountain Air, we kind of like hot weather. I'm a hot weather person. I hate cold weather, so when it gets hot, I'm happy. But there's a lot of things people can do to their existing home to help with making their indoor living space more comfortable, besides putting in a new heating and air conditioning system, which is what we do. But there's other things that they can do as well that you can help them with, such as changing out old windows. Maybe they just have single pane windows. Maybe they haven't upgraded their windows. And give us an idea of some of the things that people might want to do to make their house a little more efficient so that they're more comfortable in their home, and things that they can do that would be cost effective to help with their utilities.
You touched on windows. That is a major thing to do to make your home more energy efficient. Another thing to look at is the insulation application in the attic. What most people don't realize is insulation over time compresses, and what keeps your attic insulated is not actually the insulation, it's actually the air that is between the insulation. So if it compresses and the air barrier is gone, then you have eliminated a lot of the R factors that your insulation is providing. So an insulation inspection, and maybe maybe we need to remove it and blow in some new insulation. Possibly it's just adding in some additional insulation over the top of what you have. But insulation in the attic is a real important factor, especially in the wintertime, for making your home more efficient with heat rather than the cold. But windows is another big issue. I think we spoke of that. Another thing that people can take into consideration is closing off some of the areas of their home that they don't readily use on a day-to-day basis. Maybe they need a door that's going to close off a place where their kids used to be, but they've moved off to college and they don't use those other 3 bedrooms on the other end of the house. So if you can eliminate the areas that you're actually heating and cooling, then you can make your home more efficient that way as well.
We were talking about one of the things let's get back to the insulation factor a little bit and the roofs. You were talking to me earlier about houses that are constructed like prior to 1960. They didn't have roof ventilation systems like we use now. Why is it important for someone to have a ventilation system in their roof?
Well, there's several different reasons. Probably the most important reason is it eliminates condensation on the bottom side of your roof decking. Condensation will, especially in the wintertime when it has snowed and then the heat from your home is transferring up to the attic, it will cause condensation in the attic, and it will actually make it look like your roof is leaking. The condensation will be so bad that it'll actually drip. That's one of the, it'll keep your decking from rotting over time because of the condensation. That's probably the most structurally sound reason why you want the ventilation, beyond the idea that it's going to prolong the life of your roof. The heat coming from the attic is your shingle's worst enemy. It allows the bottom sides of the shingles or the asphalt base to actually cool itself rather than baking from the bottom side. So heat transfer out of the attic is going to prolong the life of your roof. And then probably one of the other factors is if you have no ventilation, you're going to get heat transfer down into the home rather than it expelling out the roof lines. So it can and will make your home hotter if you don't have any ventilation in the attic. But typically you're not trying to exceptionally cool the attic, but you do want that heat transfer to keep it at an average temperature.
You know, we've been sometimes our guys get in attics in older homes and stuff, and it is so hot in there that oh my goodness. We have to go on a break. I'm sorry, Dan. I was just visiting here and didn't think about it. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with some more home repairs and solutions.
Are rallying, rebounding from a 6-day sell-off. The Dow Industrial's up 161 at 12,734. The Nasdaq's up 31. The S&P 500 up 16. We were a little less optimistic about the economy in early July. Consumer sentiment cooled to its lowest level in 7 months on a dim view of finances and job prospects. Then Thomson Reuters University of Michigan's reading slipped 1.2 points. A slight gain was expected. Scott Hoyt of Moody's Analytics says there hasn't been much to cheer.
The job market's still weak. The stock market's not going anywhere. Gas prices have even stopped falling. So there's not a lot of impetus right now for much movement in consumer confidence.
You, too, can own a piece of history. The guns used by outlaws Bonnie and Clyde in a 1934 ambush are set to be auctioned off in New Hampshire on September 30th. The revolver and pistol are among 80 items connected to the infamous gangsters that will be sold. And this is the Wall Street Journal report.
The Olympic Games are almost here. On July 27th, the Summer Olympic Games are coming to the historic city of London. Watch the world's greatest athletes and see the world at its best.
Misty May and Kerry Walsh, gold medal champions.
With unforgettable moments and stories.
Usain Bolt winning by daylight. History for Michael Phelps.
Don't miss the biggest television event of the year, the London Olympic Games, beginning July 27th on NBC.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Ryan, technician with Safelite Auto Glass.
So you think all auto glass companies are the same? Well, they're not. With Safelite, you get more. Every windshield we replace is backed by a national lifetime guarantee, keeping you covered wherever you are. Plus, Safelite has more glass in stock than anyone, so we can get to you faster.
Just tell your insurance company you want Safelite, or call us at 1-800-800-2727, or go to safelite.com.
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. Investigators are looking into the cause of an overnight fire in downtown Springfield. It was in the Acme Transportation Services building near Grant and Tampa. Firefighters made short work of the fire that sent thick smoke throughout the building. A man has been arrested in a killing on Springfield's west side. 39-year-old Jared Soroy is charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action in the death of 44-year-old Robert Pugh. Police say Soroy admitted to hitting Pugh several times in the head with a pipe in order to steal his heroin. And a former counselor at Camp Kanakuk in Branson has entered a not guilty plea to sex crime charges. 23-year-old Lee Bradbury is charged with statutory sodomy, child molestation, sexual misconduct, and attempted statutory sodomy for alleged incidents involving 3 campers between the ages of 9 and 12 in the summer of 2011. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
Live local at the Ozark Empire Fair, July 27th through August 4th, presented by the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce. Support your community and spend time relaxing in the air-conditioned E-Plex. Don't miss the all-new cooking stage with demonstrations from local chefs, including Jay Perino of Queen City Deli and Kitchen Kimberly of Southwest Dairy Farmers. See local cooks battle in contests from the healthiest helping to the most pleasing pie. Meet your local farmers at the new Farmers Market and learn about your food from their garden to your plate. Thursday, August 2nd, nationally syndicated talk show host Jim Bohannon, heard locally on KWTO AM 560, will be broadcasting live from the E-Plex. Support local businesses and live local at the Ozark Empire Fair, July 27th through August 4th, presented by the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce. For more info, go to ozarkempirefair.com. The East Hall and the E-Plex is sponsored by Color 10 and KOZL 27 TV, Meyer Communications, the Springfield News Leader, Ozarks Coca-Cola, and Farmers Market of the Ozarks.
hit one out of the park with the Springfield Cardinals in their 8th season at Hammonds Field. Come out to the ballpark on July 14th for Highland Dairy Kids Backpack Giveaway. The future of Cardinals baseball is right here, right now. Visit SpringfieldCardinals.com or visit 417-863-2143 and get your tickets today. Escape to Cardinals baseball.
Here in Southwest Missouri, we see things a little differently than those liberal politicians in Washington, D.C. Down here, we believe in family and personal responsibility. We believe in working hard and paying back what you owe. Those are our values. We need more leaders like Ward Franz. We can rely on Ward Franz to defend our values because he's one of us. A local employer, Ward Franz is fighting to keep taxes low and to create jobs right here in our community. A friend of agriculture, Ward Franz helped lead the fight to stop animal rights groups from harming our farmers. A dedicated father and husband, Ward Franz is working to protect traditional marriage and defend the innocent lives of the unborn. A proven fiscal conservative, Ward Franz will continue to demand balanced budgets and less government spending. On August 7th, the choice is clear. Vote for the candidate who is defending our values. Vote Ward Franz, State Senate. Paid for by Friends of Ward Franz. Warren Fletcher, Treasurer.
Hot again today with partly sunny skies, the high 94. Turning partly cloudy tonight with a thunderstorm in spots, low 72. A shower or thunderstorm in spots again as we start the weekend tomorrow. Otherwise partly sunny, high of 92. Sunny and warm for your Sunday, the high of 93. There is a chance for a thunderstorm. Otherwise sunny and remaining warm as you head back to work on Monday. Monday's high, 95. I'm AccuWeather's Jason Lord.
84 degrees in Springfield.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
And you are listening to Home Repairs and Solutions here on KWTO, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Amana dealer. And now once again with the second half of the show, Mary Pearson and her guests for today.
Hey, Dan, guess what? Guess what we have living in our house?
An iguana. No, I don't know.
No, a flying squirrel.
Really, do you?
We have a flying squirrel living in the bird house right off of our deck.
Have you ever seen it fly?
No, I have never seen a flying squirrel before in my life until we saw this one, and we didn't realize that's what it was until they do. Yeah. And she has babies in there, so we have a friend that has one of those cameras because they're nocturnal animals, flying squirrels are. And so he gave us his camera, and we've got it set up, and we're hoping that we can get some pictures of her and maybe her babies. So I thought that was pretty cool. I've heard that they were here in Missouri, but I'd never seen one, and I can't believe we have one living in our birdhouse. Isn't that cool?
I haven't seen one in years. They're small.
They're very small. Yeah. But I thought that was pretty cool. I just wanted to, maybe the other people have flying squirrels, I don't know, but I thought that was kind of neat.
They're not abundant, man. If they're not, you wouldn't see them much.
Right. But anyway, yeah, I thought that was kind of fun. So if anyone has a flying squirrel living in their birdhouse, call us. I'd like to know. Yeah, and speaking of callers, we have a caller on the line. We have Gloria with us today. Good morning, Gloria.
Hi, Mary. Hey, I've got a couple of questions, but first of all, I want to tell you about squirrels.
Okay.
Get rid of those.
Those flying squirrels?
Well, because squirrels are territorial.
Oh, I know.
I don't know about these squirrels, but regular squirrels. And if they were ever born in your attic, they will keep coming back there until you get rid of them. I mean, you can put up a cage and hire somebody. Had to pay $60 a squirrel to get rid of them.
Yeah, they tear up a lot of stuff.
Huh?
They can tear up a lot of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what. Have the animals come get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Someone told me flying squirrels are protected. I don't know. I'll have to find out about that.
Well, I don't know. I know the regular squirrels are not good.
That's true.
I had a couple of questions to ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your number, Spring Mountain Air.
831.
831.
4036.
4036. Okay. Now, the gentleman you had on, what is his number?
You want to go and give your number out?
Sure. Our number is 877.
877.
0030.
0030. Okay, do you put in bathrooms? I mean, I've got a bathroom, but I want to change a bathtub, and it's steel, to a walk-in shower.
Oh, yes, ma'am. We can convert your bathroom to a walk-in shower,
Do
absolutely.
you come out and give an estimate, or what?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Okay, and what is your name?
My name is Edges.
What is it?
Edges.
How do you spell that?
Edious.
Edios. That's an unusual name. Edges. Okay. But anyway, okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Thank you so much.
Wait a minute, Mary.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of air conditioners do you handle?
Amana.
Well, that's a good one.
Yes, ma'am.
See, I know trans and all this and that. Okay, so if I had you come out, I don't need one right now.
Okay.
My utilities are very low, I think, but I live by myself here.
Okay.
Anyway, and my neighbor just had a new air conditioner put in. But if I need it, I want to make sure I'm ahead of the game and have you come out and give me an estimate.
Okay, we can do that.
So, and I've got a question. When you replace the air conditioner, do you replace the furnace and the whole works?
Not necessarily. It depends. Now, if you have a really old air conditioner and you're gonna put in a new one, you have different refrigerants now. The old ones have what's called R22, and the new ones have 410A. So when you change out your air conditioner and go to the new 410A refrigerant, we also need to change out the coil. So you would have to change out the air conditioner and the coil. You don't necessarily have to change out the furnace at the same time unless you want to, or if you're having issues with it, or if it's older and you just want to have a complete new system.
Well, it's older, but I don't know how old it is because I've had the house for 10 years. But I think the house is 26 or 27 years old. It's an A1 shape. Believe me.
Our tech could help you answer those type of questions. He could probably tell you. He can come out and he can tell you the age of your furnace and different things like that. Depending on what you want to do, I know that I don't know if you have an 80% furnace or if you have a 90. I would say you have an 80% furnace, and I do know that after May of next year, we will no longer be able to sell 80% furnaces in Missouri. So if
what does 80% mean?
That's the efficiency of your furnace.
Yeah.
That's how efficient it is. And so after May of next year in the state of Missouri, all new furnaces have to be 90% and above.
Is that good or bad?
Well, it's good. I mean, they're great on efficiencies. The only issue we have with that is once in a while we'll run into a situation where maybe we can't vent it outright because a 95% furnace or 90% furnace has a PVC flue pipe and not a metal pipe. And it kind of depends on if you have it depends on the room of your mechanical room and different things. Most of the time we can put them in without too much trouble. Once in a while we run into a situation where it's going to take a little bit of remodeling to accommodate that furnace. So if it's something you're thinking about and you think you might want to change it, within the next year or something, you might want to go ahead and give us a call and we can help you out with that.
I'm just thinking, I don't know how old this is, but I know it's older than 10 years for sure.
Sure.
But it does a good job, but especially if you're at home all the time and the cooling the way it is, and then it's got to break down sooner or later.
Yeah, they all do eventually.
25, 26 years old.
Uh-huh.
And but it's in A1 shape, I can tell you that.
That's
and
good.
I take good care of it. But and then I talked to you once before about the filter and we talked about that. It's over the furnace.
Yes, ma'am.
It's hard to get out. And you said you could put that in a cool air return.
Yes, we can put in filter grills that make it a lot easier to change your filter. Mm-hmm.
And then you don't have to do this.
Then you don't have to stand on your head and with a flashlight in your mouth trying
to come out and do it.
Yeah.
I hate to pay for them to come out just to change a filter.
Sure.
And wash it out. It's one of those forever filters. Wash it out.
Uh-huh.
And so I would have you do the same thing. Okay, good. I got your number.
Okay. Thanks for calling today, Gloria.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Sounds like she's into preventive maintenance. It sounds like she tries to take care of things ahead of time, which is something that maybe we should touch on a little bit. What are some preventive maintenance things people can do around their home to maybe keep them from having expensive repairs later on?
Well, the most expensive liability that people carry on their homes is the roof. It is the most expensive liability, only second to the heating and air systems that they have.
Yeah.
Well,
the roof covers the entire home.
Correct.
So your whole home is based on how good your roof is.
That is correct. The roof is the protective covering that covers all of your assets and all of your investments that are inside of the home. And without the roof being maintained properly, you're going to lose life off of the roof. And roofing is very expensive. So the longer you can get it to last, the more value that you have gained out of your existing roof and the new roofs that you put on. So we have a program called the Capstone Care Club. Mm-hmm. And what it is it has a lot of different facets. But the main thing is that we come out each and every year to do a roof inspection on your home. And what that does is it eliminates any pesky little problems that could escalate into large problems. And while we're there, we clean your skylights. We also get your gutters cleaned out for you at that point. So that's eliminating some other potential expenses that you would have throughout the year. And keeping your gutters cleaned out is always a good idea. It eliminates a lot of home maintenance problems that could be caused from gutters being clogged. And very few people are going to climb on their roofs to clean their skylights off.
I wouldn't get on my roof to do anything.
Well, and that allows you to enjoy that natural light that comes in from the skylights. That's the reason you have them, is because you want the natural light coming in.
Do people still is that something pretty prevalent? People still do skylights quite a bit? Do they put them in still? I know at one time that people did that a lot.
It does happen. One of the things that we have really started doing a lot of is installing these mirrored light tubes. It gives off a tremendous amount of natural light, and you can route them into some pretty small areas. A lot of people will put them in over the sinks in their kitchen just so they can have that natural light. If they don't have a kitchen window, most people would like to have natural light in the kitchen. We've put them in bathrooms.
What's it called?
It's called a light tube.
A light tube. I've not heard of that.
Yeah.
How does that work? What is it exactly?
Well, it's a bubble basically that you put on the roof, and then it has a mirrored tube that comes down from the roof line and is angled into wherever you want to locate it.
Oh, so it doesn't have to actually come straight in to get the light. You can be angled.
Correct.
And you'll still get the light.
Correct.
That's pretty cool. Because then you could get, like you said, you get in areas where you might not otherwise be able to get natural light into.
A lot of places that people put them is in bathrooms.
Okay.
Very few bathrooms, unless it's a more modern home, had a window in it. Or it's a very old bathroom where they actually had windows in every room because they didn't have heating and air systems.
Right.
But bathrooms that are located in the center of the home where there is no exterior walls to put a window, we can actually get that routed down into there and get them the natural light that they're after.
Wow, that's pretty neat. So, your it's called Capstone Care Club, is that correct?
That's correct.
And is that something that, do you come out and do that once a year, twice a year? How does that work?
It's a twice-a-year inspection.
Okay.
So you get one in the spring and one in the fall. So basically what it is after winter, you're getting that pre-summer inspection. And then we're also coming in before the weather gets bad in the fall to get you that winter inspection. And if you get a problem on your roof in the winter, it's unlikely that you'll be able to fix it immediately, because when you're going to notice it, there's going to be ice or snow or inclement weather that is happening. So you want to head those problems off before they happen.
Well, I think anytime you do anything preventive, especially if you're going to sell your house at some point, if you can keep up with the preventive maintenance, then when you get ready to have your home inspection and you get ready to put your house up for sale, you're not going to have as many surprises as you do if you don't do preventive maintenance. I used to work for an appraisal office here, and we always called that deferred maintenance. That's a nice way of saying these people didn't take care of their house, and now we've got 47 things to fix to sell it. So, and it's always less costly to do preventive maintenance than it is to do major repairs after the fact. So I think that's a great program that you offer, that you can come out and do that for folks. Because like you said, most people aren't going to get on the roof. I would never think of going and cleaning the outside of my skylight. That just wouldn't even occur to me to do that. And cleaning gutters, I have a question on gutters. Do you ever have to realign them? I mean, they have to be at a certain slope to properly drain and all that. Does wind and storms and all that kind of thing, does it affect your gutters? Does it move them around? Or, you have a tree limb hit the side of it or something, can they get out of alignment and not work properly?
Over a long period of time, you can have settling in the home, and usually that is the major cause for gutters not being sloped in the right direction. Typically, the gutters are fastened to the fascia boards, which are fastened to the home, and the only way that they're really going to move is if the home itself moves. One of the major problems you have with gutters is over time they collect a lot of debris and they get extremely heavy. Gutters are not made to withstand a lot of heavy weight over a long period of time. So if you have several inches of leaves and trash and debris in them and they get wet and then it retains the water on the material that's in there, it makes those gutters exceptionally heavy and they will pull away from the house. And I'm sure most people have seen their gutters sagging at one point or another, and that's the normal reason why.
I've seen trees growing out of gutters, little sapling trees and stuff. Probably not a good idea to leave those up there.
No, and those are gutters that haven't been cleaned in several years. What has happened is the leaves have actually composted to the point that they've turned into dirt, and that's what gives the saplings and stuff a place to grow.
Wow. Probably if you see trees in your gutters, you probably need to call Capstone and have them come take them out of there.
We can certainly do it for them.
And check out their care plan, because it sounds like you probably need that. That as well. Is there any new products you see coming onto the market? There's always new stuff coming in the market, like with our industry. They're always improving efficiencies and all kinds of things. Is there any kind of improvement, any kind of siding or anything like that? I see a lot of people, maybe they'll do a brick front and then side the rest of the house. And, we had siding, I know, has changed a lot over the years. Is there anything new and wonderful that you see coming down the pike in the future for somebody?
Just some standard materials that are used in everyday construction today that wasn't used 30 years ago. Whenever homes, they didn't have moisture barriers or house wraps, if you will, inside of typical construction 40 years ago. That is something that can help tremendously with moisture building up on the sheathing that is holding your siding or holding that stuff up inside of the home. So it's not really, unless you're going to be replacing your siding, it's impossible to put that on there. But most siding that you see is put with some type of moisture barrier up, whether it be a house wrap or something of the sort, or an insulation board or whatever. And but in the older homes, they just fasten the siding directly to the plywood or the sheathing, and there was absolutely nothing there to protect the siding, behind the siding, if moisture got behind there.
If someone has an older home like that and maybe has older siding, can you wrap it with that stuff and side over it? Do you have to pull all the old siding off?
It depends on what kind of siding it is.
Okay.
If it's a masonite board or something like that, we could side right over the top of it. If it's an existing vinyl siding or cedar shake siding or something of the sort, we would need to remove it.
Okay. Well, Dan's telling me we're about out of time. We just have a couple minutes left here. So, Ed, why don't you give out your contact information again in case someone didn't get it the first couple times, and let people know how they can get a hold of you guys.
Absolutely. We're able to be contacted at right here locally in Springfield, 877-0030, and please give us a call. We'd be more than happy to come out and talk with you.
What is your, how big of an area do you service for folks? We broadcast to a pretty large area. Do you go down into the Branson area or up into Lebanon, or how far is your service area?
We service out to Waynesville, out to Joplin, up to Warsaw, and all the way to the state line south of Branson.
Wow, that's a pretty big area then. So I know we have a lot of folks who listen to us in that area, so if you have something going on with your home, or if you want to do something that we've talked about today, just give Ed a call over there at Capstone Roofing and Exteriors, and they'll help you out and fix whatever it is you need fixed, or add on whatever you need added on. And I think especially if you're in the lake area, that's where we are, and I love that location. So if you're happy with your location but you have an older home, it might not cost as much to make it what you want it to be today as you might think. So check into that. Give these guys a call, and they'll come out and give you some great information and some great ideas. I just want to thank you again for being with us on the show. It was wonderful to have you here. I've been wanting to have you on for a little while, and just got around to being able to have a time slot for you to come in. So I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. And, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I think that's about it for today. I don't know. We've talked about superstitions. Dan doesn't have too many, and I don't have any. So no one called in with anything fun, so I don't know. Maybe
I think everybody has a few superstitions.
Maybe our listeners are just not that superstitious. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Well, you have been listening here to Home Repairs and Solutions. We're heard every Friday from 10 to 11 right here on 560 KWTO AM. And I remember a long time ago when I was a little girl, the big KWTO sign that was out on the hill coming up Old 60, and I hated it when they took that sign down.
That was there for many years.
It was there for a long time, and when we would come to Springfield, because we lived in Mansfield, and I grew up there, and we'd come to Springfield, and I'd see that sign, and then I'd know, golly, we're almost there, and
Almost
never ever did it cross my mind that I might be talking on the radio as an adult. So that's kind of fun.
Keep watching the Ozarks.
Keep watching the Ozarks. I remember that. So it's fun to be here. It's fun to be able to do this show, and we're looking forward to having Mark back on the air with us. Happy Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend, and please tune in next Friday.
I got squirrels in my attic. I got bats.